I don't think we've ever clapped that synced up before. Seamless. I couldn't even hear your clap.
I think that's a problem, isn't it? That shouldn't there be some kind of...
No, it's such a weird thing. Like, if you play, I know I'm going to say this wrong, but if you play the same sound perfectly synced up in your left ear and right ear, you can't really hear it almost at all. Like, that's a thing. So, like, if, like a clap being synced would be near perfect if you can't hear the other person really do it.
That's why you never hear God's ass cheeks clapping.
One's bigger than the other.
It's one's bigger than the other. Welcome to the Trashcats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we're discussing brain damage. Oof. More specifically, we're trying to figure out what's wrong with us and why we're so fucked. No, actually, we're talking about the acquired Savant Syndrome from the result of brain damage.
Yes.
The main individual that came up while we were looking for all this information was Jason Padgett. He's a man who was mugged and concussed and acquired the ability to see the world in mathematical formulas.
Yeah, this one's fucked.
Yeah, this story, this whole topic is wild as hell.
And we're approaching it with a little bit of skepticism, but we're along for the ride too, because there's some really cool possibilities of unlocking human potential.
Yeah, there's some things, it's like no matter how skeptical you may be, there's some things that are just fun to believe, because it doesn't really affect too much, but it's,
About
how she goes.
Go unlimited.
Yeah, go full on fucking limitless. What?
Because we only use 1% of our brain, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, I do. I don't know about anyone else.
How's your week been, man?
The week's been good. It's been my dad's been up here hanging out, so that was nice. He just left the other day. We had it was all fun and games and chill and cool, and then the very last day, our water faucet. So we had our hose on because we had a fire on New Year's Eve, and but it froze the next day, and I didn't turn it off, and I learned a very valuable lesson through this, because when it did finally thaw out, it was on, and the hose was no longer connected to it. So water ran down the sidewalk and all over our flooded part of the yard a little bit, and then got into a crack in the house and went into the basement, and we had about an inch of water in one of the rooms in the basement.
God damn!
And luckily, my dad was there to help vacuum that up. And thank God we have a good wet vac or shot vac thing that has wet.
Pop a trash cat to save the day.
Yeah. So he took care of that, and I went out and got a bunch of salt so that our driveway and sidewalk didn't turn into a skating rink, and then someone falls on it and then tries to, like, I slipped on your property. I want $500,000. Like, you and me both, bud.
Sounds great. Now, if you're out of salt, can you throw pretzels on the driveway?
I mean, it might work, but what would work is that you're going to get raccoons and animals that are going to sop up all of that moisture, and the warmth from their body heat is also going to melt the ice. So the pretzels won't do it, but the scavengers will.
The goose heat.
Yeah, the goose heat.
The goose heat. Yeah, you come outside and there's all these dead frozen animals. Just wanted a pretzel. They're making me thirsty.
Speaking of dead frozen animals,
sure.
I mentioned earlier in several episodes ago, I made a little cat house to put out in the garage, and there's no dead animals. Don't worry, there's nothing dead.
All right.
But one of the cats. So I know there's multiple cats that have been sleeping in the shed because I see them come in and I can see the tracks in the snow. And one of them in particular I know is a male cat because he's a big orange fucker. And typically orange cats are boys.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the thing we found out with my mom's cat. So he's we think he's been sleeping in the housing there, but he's also managed to spray all up over the inside of the fucking shed. So it smells like ass in there. And I just keep having to remind myself, like, this is still a better situation. Like this, it's annoying, and like I can smell it on me sometimes if I'm in there for too long, or if I touch like he's like one of our ice or our salt buckets. He fucking must have sprayed that because I had it all over my hand, and my cat was like all up on my shit, like gawking on my hand,
God.
and was like, so. But it's still better than finding a dead cat in my shed, or knowing that cat died because it didn't have a place to sleep.
I thought only females sprayed.
No, the males spray. The females just fucking scream at you.
Well, my week's been kind of stupid. It's been chill. Just a couple lame days. I didn't want to talk about it on too much here, but I will give like an abridged version. So, I haven't been let down by anyone in a long time because I don't fuck with many people, right?
Yeah.
It's a very few amount of people. So I did get kind of let down by someone recently, and it was a pretty big bummer. But I'm just staying zen. Fuck everybody, just doing my shit, and that's all right. Just chill.
Yeah, people suck sometimes, and that's an unfortunate part of life.
It sure is. But we've had some cool podcast shit this week.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Art Revel, Sacred Cuts. Appreciate you guys sharing. It was very cool. It's always so cool when the artists we feature talk about like share our stuff. That's always so cool.
Hell yeah, that's huge.
Definitely. Speaking of which, do you got any honorable mentions?
I sure don't.
All right. First one. Since we're focusing on brain damage today, this is just a single photo, but it's so fucking brutal and cool, I had to share it. So this is a photo of a 53-year-old woman who had brain surgery. She had a tumor in her brain. She's a professional violin player, and she was so worried she would lose her music skills that the surgeon suggested that she play the violin during the open brain surgery. And the photos, they remind me of like an old Renaissance painting.
Did you know that there's actually a video?
I did. I didn't check it out yet though.
It's very brutal.
So cool. Imagine how it would feel because her brain is like she's got
exposed and open.
Yeah, like what if there's a draft? Shut that fucking window.
A little chilly on the brain.
But I mean, it's all numbed up. Like she's not going to be in pain. But people are tinkering on your brain. You're trying to concentrate. And they want you to play. So if there's any obvious mistakes, they could see by your neurosystem reactions.
Can they really numb your brain like that, though?
Yeah, you're dope the fuck up. I don't know how... I mean, as you're saying that, I don't know how thorough it is, but they're doing a lot of injections. They're doing a systemic anesthesia. I forget what they call it. It's a partial anesthesia, where you're, like, drugged with things that minimally alter your consciousness, but turn off a lot of pain receptors, and then they'd be giving you a shit ton of shots in your wrinkles, in your wrinkle brain.
Yeah, that terrifies me.
Yeah, and then she's still playing violin through it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's so cool.
Yeah, I have to not look at it anymore.
Yeah. So that was the first one. Second one, this is a random one, but we were talking about the idea of like art as a designer drug, and for whatever reason, between violin and drugs, this led me to an old song that I like by the artist Ubi, who is one half of Cess Crew. It's UBI. The song's called Pharmacy. And if you're a drug addict, or you hate the pharmaceutical industry, this is the song for you.
Yeah. Fucking awesome.
So good. Honestly, it's just, we need, like any genre of music, most rap fucking sucks. It's probably my most listened to genre, but most rap fucking sucks. And we need more, like, honest, genuine music. And this one's all a cappella. And Ubi just is so good.
Yeah. That, not only the song is good, like the verses are great and whatnot, but the video is well constructed.
Yeah.
And like it's all like looks like it's done in one take.
Definitely.
It's like I don't know how many times they had to do that, but
right. It's a shorter thing, and it's not quite as like a story-ish, but it's very much on the level of like a Immortal Technique, Dance with the Devil kind of shit.
Oh my god, I remember the first time I heard that.
Right? That like changes the party pretty fucking quick.
Exactly.
Somebody's always holding it up their sleeve. They're like, I know no one's seen this yet. I'm gonna change the vibe in this room in 5 minutes.
We were smoking in a car and somebody played that, and it was like, y'all was trying to have a good fucking time.
That's exactly what that one does, but it's like worth it, you know? Like it
sticks with you.
Yeah. All right, so Ubi, Pharmacy, acapella rap. Check it out. Third one, I'll be honest. I had another artist in mind for this, and it's someone I've known for a long time and really wanted to share their work, but I can't fucking find their Instagram page. They're missing. So I was looking for an artist to replace them. And I felt like initially I was settling because this artist is more mainstream. She's very successful. But I was like thinking about it more like the only reason her work isn't as exciting to me is because I've seen it for so many years. Yeah. She was one of those artists that was like in Beautiful Bizarre all the time and like Juxtapose and shit. Like where as a teenager, she had a bigger influence on me than I think I was like willing to admit because it's almost in the realm of normal art, but at the same time, it's just so fucking brutal and like just classically beautiful. I felt like it was so silly to like not be excited about her. So we have to share Lauren Max art on Instagram. She's been around for a while and she just absolutely gorgeous. She's got such brutal stuff. Most of it's animal related, but it's like animal corpses.
The animal stuff is like a talent in itself.
Yeah.
It's so specific. Like anyone who draws knows that like there's a very specific type of person that is like good at drawing animals. Yeah. It's such a wild talent.
It definitely speaks of their connection in relation to it. And then she just is so incredible at anatomy and floral elements, fruit. Like this first one is a rabbit with its ribs exposed, covered in moss, blueberries, and blue flowers. And it feels so simple and just absolutely stunning at the same. It's just like classic. Like it's only not as exciting if you've seen her forever. Mm-hmm. But like when she was new to me, it was like a game changer kind of thing.
What's wild is... Sorry, continue.
I just felt like I wasn't appreciating her stuff. And it felt... I like looking at it with fresh eyes felt really good.
What's wild is that I've definitely seen her art before, but I wasn't following her on Instagram, so I don't know why that would... I mean, I'm sure it's just because someone's posted her shit somewhere else, but...
Yeah, she's very active. The second one is another rabbit. I like the rabbits with the snake going through its belly as mushrooms and fungus grow out from it. And they're so stark, often on white backgrounds. I like when it's a darker background sometimes, but they're just so top level.
Yeah, and the colors are just phenomenal.
Yeah, watercolor ink, pencil, gel pen, and graphite on paper, which is a very unique combination too.
Yeah. lots of effort going in to achieve that.
Definitely. That's a lot of time for sure.
Yeah.
Just expert level of anatomy, color, composition. She's one of those people where, like, I have wanted to use elements of her stuff in my own graphic design, and I'm always like, I typically, shy away from it because it's too perfect or finished as is type of thing.
My work is too perfect.
I meant hers.
Oh, okay.
Mine's a mess. All right, so Lauren Mack's brain surgery photo and a random rapper. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
Brain damage.
Yeah, let's talk about brain damage.
I want those X-Men level mutant abilities.
Oh, it's if you listen to the entire podcast, we'll get to a part where you might be able to.
Would you be Professor X?
No, absolutely not.
Who would you be?
I feel like if I'm being realistic with it, or who would I want to be? I think realistically, I think the Beast. That's just he usually just chills at the university. He's just smart and he looks like an animal.
Reading books and
doing fixing the fucking X-Men. I don't know, they're fucking stealth bomber plane.
I think I would either be Nightcrawler or Spike. I feel like I want to be Nightcrawler, but I'd probably be
Spike. Nightcrawler's dope.
Dope as fuck.
That movie came out, Nightcrawler, not long ago, and I was so pissed off when I found out it wasn't about
fuck X-Men.
Nightcrawler.
Fuck X-Men, fuck all superhero movies. The movie Nightcrawler is an amazing movie.
Okay, well, I'll try it now. I just got disappointed because it wasn't.
It's about a guy who chases crime scenes. Like for newspapers where they get the gory shot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's like a bit of a psycho, and he's like reading police calls, showing up before the cops to get the gore photos. It's really fucking dark. It's a good one.
All right, well, fuck.
But we bring up the X-Men because this dude, Jason Padgett, would fit right in.
Yeah. So in the 90s, Jason attended Tacoma Community College and he worked at his father's futon store as a mattress salesman. Jason's biggest concern was going out with his friends, hot rods, and partying. He worked out 6 to 7 days a week, had spiked hair and a mullet, spent most of his days goofing off. He soon dropped out of community college to sell futons full time. Has a little background on Mr. Padgett here.
Yeah, he looked like a punky trash cat.
Yeah, he looked like he would fit right in.
Definitely. He would burn a hole in my futon kind of guy. Like I would
it's just so he could sell you one the next day.
He comes over to buy weed, bums a cigarette from me, burns my futon, and then tries to sell me.
Hey, we'll get you a discount down at the store, man.
My dad's the futon king, bro.
Yeah, my dad's the futon king.
So he's just a regular weirdo, right?
Yeah.
Six pack Joe, right?
Six pack Joe. Yep, that's him.
So on the fateful day of Friday the 13th in September of 2002, Jason was leaving a local karaoke bar when he was hit on the back of the head. He saw a white light like a photo camera flash, felt dizzy. It was like the whole world was spinning around him, and he lost consciousness. As he came back, he didn't know where he was or how he got there. As he tried to stand up, he was punched and kicked by 2 men repeatedly. His friends stood there, looking on, but not intervening. They robbed him of his leather jacket and never once searched him for his wallet, where he had a couple $100 on him. He was able to slip it into his jean pocket, and all they got from him was his leather jacket.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he went to Tacoma General Hospital. Doctors diagnosed him with a badly bruised kidney and a severe concussion. He received medicine and was sent home that night on some sound like pretty heavy painkillers or something similar.
Yeah. I thought that I left the part in about they took his jacket, but they didn't get his wallet. And apparently in an interview, he said that like they must have like been watching him at the bar because he had his wallet in his jacket pocket earlier, but he took it out to pay his bill and put it in his pants pocket.
Nice.
And so these motherfuckers thought they were going to be slick.
Straight red card him.
And they just got a coat. They got an old shitty coat.
But if you're a punk for real and somebody takes your leather, that's you just got pretty bad.
You know, I wouldn't know that because someone stole my leather before I got to break it in. I think I've told you this story before. I had a leather jacket stolen from me when I was a child, and it was another child that did it. And when I confronted him about it, he lied and said he had nothing to do with it, and I thought this motherfucker probably needs it more than I do, and I dropped it. And then years later, he admitted to it.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's funny. Well, he had thin skin, so he needed cow skin to keep his
And I still haven't
skin.
forgiven. No, I don't really give a fuck anymore.
Oh, we'll bring it back up.
So the day after the attack, Jason felt very strange. He said he assumed it was an effect of the medication he was prescribed, but as time went on, it was clear that the attack had changed him in more profound and long-term ways than anyone had imagined. As a result of his traumatic brain injury, Jason began displaying signs of obsessive-compulsive disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. He began viewing the world through a lens of mathematical shapes, which is something he had never seen before.
So things are getting weird. Enter the trip vision. It's weird how the OCD stuff, I mean, post-traumatic stress kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
The OCD happens a lot with like severe brain damage.
Yeah.
That's a weird one. So we start seeing things a little differently. It's getting mathy. Lots of pie. The onset of the OCD and PTSD happened immediately. He found himself obsessed with not touching germs. He would wash his hands 20 times in 30 minutes, trying to avoid touching something in the process that may have been dirty. He avoided people by only leaving his home at night for food, and he ended up hammering 3 layers of blankets over his windows to avoid the sunlight. When he reflected on this period of time, he did so in a way where, like, he said it was a time of self-discovery, and he was, like, confused on what was happening, this change he was going through, but he also kind of reflected on it fondly, like he was rediscovering himself and how he saw the world. So he would sleep for days only to wake up and try to fall back asleep. He had changed from an extrovert to an antisocial in a matter of days. The behavior changes lasted for 3 years.
Immediately after the attack, Jason also began seeing the world in the mathematical shapes. Water now looked like tangent lines, and light became rays made up of lines and spirals. Many of the images he began to see corresponded to geometry and physics concept he had never studied, but somehow he did know that it was all related to pi. He began drawing the shapes that he would see. Drawing became therapeutic to him and helped him manage his OCD and the PTSD. He eventually contacted Wisconsin psychiatric Dr. Daryl Treffert, and is a world-renowned expert on savantism, who eventually diagnosed Jason with acquired Savant Syndrome. According to the New York Post, Paget is one of only 40 people in the world with acquired Savant Syndrome, which is a condition that in which prodigious, that's not the way to pronounce that word. Prodigious talents in math, art, or music emerge in previously normal individuals following a brain injury or disease.
Yeah, so he gets this brain injury, and literally everything starts looking different, right? So yeah, he has a quote. We're going to try to explain. Like, it sounds goofy to be like, he sees math mode or like Matrix vision, but it's
when we first talked about it, I couldn't really picture it.
Yeah, so here's a couple quotes of him kind of explaining. He said, when you see something move, your brain is taking pictures and it smooths out the picture frames. But when that part of my brain was injured, I can see the picture frames. So he kind of described it like if you were watching like a movie and in the scene a person's hand is holding a ball and it goes across the screen. Instead of seeing that hand smoothly move, he sees each still shot. And depending on how fast the ball and the hand are moving, that's how far things would be spaced apart. And because of that, like, he could see the spatial relations and equations to, like, understand the speed they were moving, the angles things were happening at, and it's all in these shapes that he can interpret mathematically.
That's really wild. To be able to do that instantaneous like that is...
It's incredible. Yeah. And at first he didn't know if it was real. Like, he's like, I'm seeing all this math shit. And he didn't understand geometry. I don't know if he had gone to college at all at that point, but he hadn't done any algebra or anything like that.
Yeah, he said he didn't even finish algebra in high school.
So he's like, is this math even accurate? Is this like my brain coming up with a coping mechanism? Like, it would be so confusing. It'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
He said, the first time I noticed anything was coming home from the hospital. The next day, I watched water go down the drain. Instead of going down smoothly, it looked like little tangent lines slowly spiraling down. Everything was slightly pixelated looking.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I like to think that it would be cool, but it would be so fucking terrifying. I think to have new thought processes that all of a sudden come up and just like you can't turn it off.
Yeah. Like what I love most about psychedelic drugs are the visual aspects, right?
Yeah.
But like the other day when I had that random dizzy shit going on.
Yeah.
Earlier this week I don't know what the fuck I did, but I got dizzy as fuck, and it was like when you're drunk and high and you get the spins, like everything kept...
Yeah.
It was like blurry and spinny. Like when you don't know why it's happening, or you're not in any form of control of turning it on and off, like that, your vision changing is one of the most like scary and like helpless feelings. For me personally, like if something happened,
absolutely.
Like fuck that. If I came home after a severe concussion and I start seeing like picture frames instead of the movie of life, like I'm gonna be freaking the fuck out. I'd be turning off the lights and nailing my doors closed too, you know?
Yeah. So Dr. Matthew Dole, director of the Outpatient Behavioral Health at SSM Health Center in Wisconsin, said after being assaulted, he had a perceptual change. He has a particular kind of synesthesia where he sees lines, and for him, that translated into a greater understanding of mathematics. Jason was later invited to partake in a study at the University of Miami with Dr. Barrett Brogard, where she used fMRI machines and transcranial magnetic simulations to understand how Jason's brain has been affected by the attack. Jason learned that the left side of his brain, the side that houses math abilities, has greater activation than his right.
Fuck, man. And then it would be so weird to have these doctors like tinkering with your
poking,
brain,
prodding at you.
Yeah, that would. I mean,
sending magnetic pulses through your head.
There's got to be a sense of some relief because at least someone believes you.
Yeah, that's true.
At that point, like at least someone's taking it seriously that you're going through a physical or chemical change in your brain, but it still would be so unsettling to know, like, all right, this doctor believes me. There's something going on that should be explainable, but now they're going to start trying to like alter my brain chemistry to understand it or hope.
Yeah.
Like that's
I gotta say there is a huge relief when you go in for something that you like don't know what the fuck's going on.
True.
And you're like, and they're like, oh no, that's this thing. Or like, even if they're like, okay, that sounds like this. And it's like, all right, well, at least there's an answer. It's better than being like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like there was for so long I had what we thought was a food allergy, and I had the fucking dermatitis shit. And we would go to all these different doctors, allergens and all kinds of people that were like, we have no idea what's wrong. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'd never seen this before, and it was like, that's fucked up.
That's so lame of them too.
Yeah.
It's like you're shedding like a snake. We've never seen this before.
Yeah, and then I finally, like, my skin was like bleeding; it would break so bad, and then like eventually I went to a different dermatologist that was like, "Oh yeah, that's this."
Like,
and I was like, "But what about my milk allergy?" And she was like, "You might be allergic to milk, but it's got nothing to do with this." I was like, "All right, cool. So I can have ice cream again."
Yes,
that's all that mattered.
Back to the cow water.
Back to the cow water.
So Jason, in the meantime, the doctors are checking him out, and Jason's continuing to draw the shapes that he's seeing. So he sees everything like lines. He can see how these lines connect into shapes in the world around us. One day, Jason was driving in public when a man approached him, and he was drawing.
He was drawing in public.
I think he was getting food. Like at a subway,
he's like at a subway or something. Yeah,
and he happens to see this man approach him asking about his art. Turned out the man was a physicist, and he recognized the high-level mathematics Paget was drawing. He urged him to take a math class, which led Paget to enroll in community college, where he began to learn the language he needed to describe his obsession. And it was a basic-level math class. And this dude, I guess, he supposedly was like a successful physicist, and he could tell that Paget didn't like understand the theories behind what he was doing, but that it demonstrated a high level of understanding of mathematics. And it was like, dude, you get out of Subway, go to school.
Yeah, go to fucking school. Quit spending your time hanging out with Jared and the boys.
You'll never learn anything at Subway University.
The one I thought was cool, there was an interview where he was talking about he would carry all these drawings around with him because he thought that what he was like discovering shit, and he didn't know that the things that he thought he was discovering were like already just like known formulas and stuff. So he thought that, like, if it didn't leave his book at home in case like someone stole it or like something like someone something happened to it. He always kept this book with him with all these drawings that he would make with these rulers and shit. And
it was his special research.
Yeah,
it all reminds me of the movie Pi. Like, this dude's going through this crazy psychological struggle where he can't
he's
really
in
trust
the boat with the tiger.
No, not that movie. That's The Life of Pi. You haven't seen Pi?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's a Ricky movie.
It's the one with Russell Crowe, and he's
Nope. There's so many things you need to watch. I wish I could transport them to your brain. You'd like it a lot. A lot.
Get some fucking transcranial magnetic stimulation, then it might.
Or we get
just be able to do that.
Our Neuralink, and we can we can stream
get our brain chip Neuralink, and we can just think the podcast.
Fuck yeah! Podcasting live.
Jason now views the attack and its effects as a gift. Since the attack, Jason has gone on to make and sell his artwork on his personal website, portraying the shapes that he sees. He has written a book about his attack and life thereafter, and he's given TED Talks. His autobiography called Struck by Genius is being adapted into a major motion picture. The movie rights were picked up by Sony and Channing Tatum in 2014.
Okay, so first off, we're going to look at his art later because it is interesting.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that for now. But also, these are the elements, like, he wrote a book called Struck by Genius. He has a major movie in the works. He goes on to do some cool things, but these are the parts of, like, these Savant Syndrome cases that feel exploitative or a little grifty or a little fraudy. And I don't think that's really, we'll go into it more in a bit. I don't really think that's the case, but it's just kind of, there's an element of like whether it's the individual that now has this you know, a surprising gift that, you know, everyone else is so like entertained by and they take advantage of it. There's just something there that is off still.
Mm-hmm.
I feel strongly about that. So this attack happens. Jason's life changes a lot in that time. And 15 years later, after the attack, one of Jason's attackers actually reached out to him. And he said, since the guy who attacked him had changed his life around, found sobriety, and apologized to Jason for the actions that day, both men found the meeting very cathartic and healing, which is kind of, it's a nice little bow on it. It's kind of bullshit though, right?
Yeah, it's still like, man, really though?
Well, it was for the best for Jason, but I also, anytime someone apologizes and says like, hey, I'm sober now, like, it's lame as fuck. It's cringy. It's super cringy. Like, as a person who was supposed to apologize, like, it's court mandated AA shit, right? Like, step 7. Say, like,
don't they make you apologize to people for shit?
Yeah.
It's like part of it.
Your shortcomings. You know what I did when I got to that step? Didn't fucking do that. Fucking no way. Like, if someone's close to me, the close people in my life, like, I probably had even apologized in probably a small way, but to like you, definitely like my brother, my parents, but I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm sober now, and I was really bad, and I'm different now. Like, it's so spineless, and there's an element of like, hey, it was because I was fucked up. Like, that wasn't who I am. That was drunk me. It's like, yo, that was the true you piece of shit.
That's still you that did those things.
Right. So
I said those things.
To like frame your apology in the like, oh, I'm sober way always makes me feel like you're taking like such an easy way out. Like, you're just so unresponsible because you were shitty. I don't know.
I feel like first of all, you've never wronged me, I don't think, you know. So I'm sure you did
in small ways, but not any major.
Not in any way that I've noticed. The thing, like, even if you had I feel like you've taken a action talks, you know, approach to it, where like you don't have to say you're sorry for, you know, or apologize in that way, you know, because like you said, it doesn't mean as much as like changing your actions and like, or like be the better person kind of thing.
Dude,
you know, like let your character speak for itself.
So this recently has came up for myself actually, but I was trying to explain it to somebody, and this person was resentful at someone else because of their lack of sobriety, right? And my point of view was like, you can be like deservedly angry at that person, but the thing is like, if you hold it against them for it always depends on what they do. You don't owe it to forgive anyone. Fuck that.
Right.
But also, like, just because someone wasn't around, like, most people have no idea what that person was going through.
Exactly.
Too. And for myself at least, I feel like, you know, I don't feel like we owe anyone in this world anything unless we've decided that we do. Like, if we have a close friendship, it's a mutual understanding. We have a certain level of like interpersonal debt to each other, but it really shouldn't be like a debt. It's like, it's something we're just like happy to have.
Yeah.
So like, if I went off to struggle really bad for a couple years and I come back and that person's really angry with me for it, it's like, that can be okay. Like, that can make sense at times, but also like, I don't know. There's a certain level of selfishness too.
Yeah. I say even I think so. The closest I can think of like a wrong that you've done to me. It's not a wrong that you've done to me at all. Is like times where like you've relapsed and like it's more like God damn it, like
disappointing.
Right? Disappointment. Like not. I wouldn't even say like less disappointment than it was like concern. Like they're still like I care about you. I don't want you to fucking die. I don't want you to be sick. So. Getting like when I would hear shit like that, usually it was you telling me that it happened, which is another huge thing. Like you didn't like hide it, you were open about information all the time with me. I don't feel like that you've ever like withheld shit from me, and if you ever did, it was just because like it was unnecessary for me to know shit, and it was like,
yeah, sure, I'm pretty open
with
shit. But do you, like exactly what you're saying, like, I still have people in my life where like I want to be close to them. They're on and off, struggling all the time. And it does genuinely upset or hurt, like when I know they're fucking up. But like, they didn't actually do anything to me.
Right.
And it's like, if you care about the person, it still hurts and sucks, but you just want them to like be better. You don't. Yeah,
you're not angry at them. You might be a little frustrated, but it's like,
I think
it's not like they're doing it to. Though. Yeah, but you shouldn't. It's not like they're doing it to you. They're doing something to themselves, and that bothers you.
And it's on a level like, if that person's willing to do that crazy shit to themselves, it's obviously something like. You can't just like empathy your way into like understanding where they're at, you know, like obviously they're going through some shit or they wouldn't be doing some dumb shit, right?
Now, here's actually an interesting thing I just thought of that I meant to talk to you about anyways. So on New Year's Eve, my mom and dad and I went to this bar down the street that we like, and like as soon as we sat down, there were these two women in there that were next to where we were sitting at the bar, and the one starts talking to my mom, and they strike up a conversation and they learn that like they're both the same age, and this woman owns this business down the street that she's been to and shit, and like they end up making friends, but this woman was plastered drunk. She was like she was fucked up. Yeah. And then they leave the bar and like they're, saying that they're going to like get in this woman's car and drive off. And like, ooh. Yeah. And my mom was like, so later on she was like, I want to be friends with this person, but like, how do I get her to, not drink and drive? And I'm like, you can't, like if you become close enough friends where you can bring up something like that, like otherwise you just don't get in the car with her. Like she's a grown ass woman. She's going to do what she's going to do. Like you can rag on her if you get close enough as friends, but like you just met this person. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. And the tricky part is you have no idea if like, if they're going to remember any of it to begin with, but if like, this is like a one-off thing, like they're having a really fucked night, and maybe you could intervene a little, or if this is every night of their fucking life, and they're never going to remember or want to be, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can't solve people's problems for them, kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's gas up the car, give them the keys, and say, "Get out of here, you're asshole."
It's like, just what can I do? And it's like, just don't get in the fucking car with her. You really can't do shit about it, though. It's not, like you said, if it's one thing, if it was like if you're out with her and like next time, and she tries to get into a car, and you're like, hey, like let me just call you an Uber. Like you can try to do something like that. But if
you could try it the first time, like meeting them, but it would have to be like you know what I mean? Like depending on the person. Yeah. Some people would be
and that's it, like we couldn't even like, it wouldn't even be like we could give them a ride home. Instead, it was like, we walked to this bar. And like technically we could have them walk up to the car and then do that also, but we just met this person. So like, I don't know, but I'm still thinking about like, you really like that's weird to, I don't know. You're not going to listen to someone you just met.
Right.
If this is the lifestyle that you're living.
You tell them you left something at the bar and you ask them to help you look for it, and then you sneak out the back door, slash all their tires.
Yep, slash all their tires, throw their keys in a ditch. Oh no, look what happened. Completely by accident.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get back on track here and start talking about Jason Paget again.
To our soft brain boy, our soft brain baby boy with powers.
So his ability to see these mathematical shapes in everyday objects has changed his life forever, and it left scientists and doctors with questions about the inherent abilities of humans. Most recently in 2021, he and his family moved to Carmel, Indiana, after he wrote a program to determine a place to live. He said, we wrote a basic program and put in what we wanted in a city: low crime, affordability, low taxes. And they did it was like math, put together a bunch of formulas. And he said Carmel and Westfield will always pop up in the top 5 of their search. So
that's pretty wild. You're gonna this dude didn't know basic algebra. He gets brain damage. Now he's writing algorithms to determine the best place to live. That feels a little gimmicky, but it's just wild, man. You can tell he's a different person than he was, and the doctors are pretty on the same page that he's gone through this change in his brain.
Yeah, that's the only thing that pulls away some of the gimmick, for at least in this case. It's not that so much that it's a gimmick, more than it sounds like this shitty thing happened to him and he's making money on it. Fuck, I would too.
Yeah,
if I could. So, but I'm sure there are definitely other situations where people are claiming oh, I can do this thing now. And it's but there's so many different doctors and medical studies about this guy that it's hard to call it completely a fraud.
Yeah, if you want, you can doctor shop your way to the top. I'll tell you what. And we looked at a lot of these other savant cases, and there is a wide range. Some of them feel very legitimate, and others are very skeptical. There is a range. And part of the reason we wanted to focus on Paget is because it felt by far the most plausible that we came across.
Yeah. So his artwork, we wouldn't be us if we didn't talk about his art.
Oh boy. It's just, all right. Can I sum it up super quick?
Yeah.
It's dumb acid geo-shape art. It's those stupid kids at a festival that buy a poorly printed sweatshirt with 3 blocks or some shapes. It's not art, it's angles.
Yeah. It's math.
Yeah, it's just math. It's fine. I don't know. What's your take?
I think it's cool. I wouldn't pay money for it. No. While we were taking notes, I said it's the kind of thing that kind of art that Neil deGrasse Tyson likes.
Yeah, Neil would just cum his pants looking at this perfect square.
His work it's fractals and diagrams. It's sometimes it's a specific composition behind it, but he's. I don't know. So fractals are it's shapes that when they're decomposed into pieces, the pieces are all the same or similar to the whole. And when he's he's currently studying how all the fractals arise from the limits and how E equals MC square is itself a fractal. And when he first started drawing, when he didn't have the math training, so he only could just draw the things that he was seeing, and it just happened to be math. And it's all hand drawn, and he's just using a pencil, a ruler, and a compass. But it looks like he or someone does color or post work on his pieces when they go up for sale.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who's doing that part, if it's him or he has someone that's like.
I did see a video of him using some sort of digital workstation that looked like he maybe was doing some after edit work. But so even, let's say all of his formulas in his mind are correct. What I definitely believe is that he can see relationships and see things in a way that most people can't. That is, brain damage is definitely legit. How it affected his brain is causing forms of synesthesia, and that he can see angles and math and just relationships in a way most brains can't. But when he says things like he's making the fractals that are present in E equals MC squared, or how a double rainbow is a perfect relationship of pi. He said, like, I know it's like, he's saying that in an artistic sense. It's not like, those words out of context are so literal, but there's a part of that where it just feels like, yo, man, you might be seeing a relationship in a way that we can't, but it just feels off.
But we just don't care.
True. That's true. But I do think his art definitely, like, some of it is aesthetically pleasing or whatever, but it's, it's a mathematician doing art, not an artist doing math, right? Like, it's just wall.
I can't wait to send him an email to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, because we reach out to everyone. But I mean, it's honest though. Like, I wish him the best with his life in general and his art. I think anyone making art, even if it is shitty, like, mad props. I think it's so much cooler you're putting out shit in the world than doing nothing with your life, right?
Yeah, but like, we're still gonna talk shit.
Yeah. It's just we're artists. We have to talk shit. I mean, artists are basically haters, right?
Yeah. Fartists.
The fartists. Dude, Stanislaw Zukalski, man. What a champion of the arts.
What a real OG.
What an OG. What a giant of a man.
I would like to hear his opinions on Warhol.
I think he would hate my work.
I mean, he hated Picasso, so pick asshole. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. So, yeah, that's his art. Is there anything else we want to say?
Not really about him.
No. I mean, it's worth checking out. We'll definitely post a couple. There's a couple I do genuinely like, but it's not, there's no emotion. It's just logic, right?
Yeah, there's you can tell there's definitely a lot of time and effort goes into, like, I know even drawing the diagram kind of work that he's doing is like, it's very time intensive and has to be like very perfect for it to look any bit good. So for that whole purpose, like, it's quite, technical and skilled.
To me, that type of stuff is very, it reminds me like art therapy stuff. Like, in theory, if that design of his art was like pre-laid out, anyone could do it. Like, you don't need very low level of artistry to recreate that. It's more about patience, time, and like a mental focus kind of thing. And that's where it feels like it's not unique to the person. Like, if anything,
right?
If all his ideas and the things he's seen are true, or they're just an artistic expression of that, his pieces may even be like a greater truth, but they're not a piece of art unique to him. It's no piece of his soul. It might be a piece of the world or whatever, but fuck the world. I'm more interested in what's inside a person than, the relationship of fucking angles, right?
Yeah.
Do you want...
You said fuck the world. It reminded me of so I was doing typography work earlier, and whenever I start playing with fonts to try to get more comfortable with them, I always write like the wildest shit, like fuck, burn, kill, like, destroy everything, like just really kind of metal things, but I'm putting it in this like beautiful font just to see what it looks like and like how it changes the feel of it.
That's funny.
Like, burn the world was one I said earlier. I wrote earlier, and it was just like this goofy, stream of consciousness shit. I'm just trying to think of metal things to write in this cursive, beautiful font.
That contrast, though, is lovely when you see something so ugly that's pretty or pretty that's ugly. One of my favorites from this old metal song is just this dude screaming out of his mind to incinerate the harvest in the name of aggression. It makes me so happy inside. I've scrawled it on so many notebooks. But
Jesus, that is very brutal. It's like old school as fuck brutal.
Yeah, but at
I'll burn your crops, motherfucker.
Right. At Sam's old apartment, he had the fuck board, and it was just a big piece of plywood, and he just wrote like fuck on it, and in like some font, and then like over the next couple of years of like partying, it just became the fuck board where everyone would write like fuck or like some string of curse words in different fonts, and it was a good vibe to walk into.
Nice, that's very cool. I've always wanted to have a piece like that that's like a continuous build up. I used to have the walls of my room when I was little, but that was an absolute mess. That was a disaster. And I'm so glad we painted over it. I'm so glad my mom painted over it. I didn't help.
She's like, this has got to go, buddy.
This has got to go.
So tell me more about Savant. We've talked about it throughout the episode. Let's get more into the actual, like, he had forms of synesthesia and brain damage, but there's this overarching concept of savantism and the syndrome. So
Savant Syndrome it's a rare condition in which someone with significant, significant mental disabilities demonstrates certain abilities far in excess of average. So the skills that savants excel at are generally related to memory. This may include rapid calculation, artistic ability, map making, or music ability. Usually only one exceptional skill is present. It's not like a combination of multiple things. Although like one thing could also be used, like one exceptional skill could be used for multiple different talents. So whether it's like a memory thing, then it could be like the calendar ones, or they know the specific date, or like whatever, like you give them a specific date.
You're really good at Wii bowling.
Yeah. that was my savant. I'd get baked out of my mind and play fucking Wii bowling.
How salty would it be to be the savant that's really good at maps? Like you just got robbed so hard. Like, cool, you can draw some maps for Lord of the Rings. Cool.
I was gonna say, well, we have satellites that do that. We have machines that do that. We don't need you.
Yeah, you're irrelevant. We have GPS, bud.
That's something I'm really proud of myself. I have really good I don't know about cartography skills, but like spatial awareness and like directional abilities. Like I can figure out how where I'm at and shit based on shit, or that's
my favorite thing about you. You always know where you are.
I always know where I'm at, dog. I never get lost. No, one of my favorite things to do is like get on my bike and get lost and then try to find my way back. Like just start going and then like, okay, now where the fuck am I? Go somewhere new and like figure out where the fuck I'm at. I was like, just look at like where, and I'll look at where the fucking sun is and what time of the year it is. And that like, okay, it's going to be lower on the horizon. So in the south. So, cause it's winter time. So, you can figure out shit based on that and find your fucking way home.
I used to do that, but my way, I had a much better process.
You would go on Google Maps.
I would drive high down on the highway, and I'd pull off somewhere I didn't know, and I would slowly navigate home by gradually recognizing random places I did drug deals until like I'd follow the places like breadcrumbs. Like, I've been to that gas station one time. I remember meeting a dude there, and afterwards I stole a spoon from Frisch's, and that's the Frisch, and I could find my way from anywhere in the city. Drive me anywhere.
That's an odd savant, but you have it.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one. One more before we continue. When I was young, me and my cousins went to Kentucky, and one of my cousins was meeting up with someone down there. And while he was meeting them, me and my other cousin drove around in his car. He was driving, and I was in passenger. So we are in like bumfuck Kentucky. It's just nothing but corn everywhere. It's nothing but just crops and crops and crops, and every corner looks the exact same. There's no fucking street signs. It's very fucking boondock shit. So at one point we're like, we are just going in circles. We have no idea where the fuck we're at or where my other cousin is or how to get back to him. So what we did have was a camcorder, and we started recording out of the back, we did it out of the back window, so we could like play it in reverse if we wanted to, and been like, okay, we've been here before.
That's
interesting. We can backtrack this way if we need to. And like, it didn't help at all. And we did end up, we've ended up finding the place again.
Okay. So
it wasn't hours and hours and hours later, but it was at least an hour later.
That's fun. So that's basically the plot of the movie Pi. It's this guy who can't remember every day, like overnight, he loses his memory. So he's like writing and carving shit into his skin to like remind him his life story and shit he has to do.
That's all fucked.
Math based. It's a you movie, dude. I'm telling you.
Okay. All right, I'll watch it.
I've never led you astray.
And that's true.
I've never left you in a cornfield either.
You've never taken me to a cornfield and then told me to find my way back. And we purposely got lost. Like we were like, hey, let's fuck around and find out. And boy, we did.
I even didn't make a funny joke, because the crazy part about going to Kentucky with your cousins is you're really just there to meet your other cousins.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a meetup.
Yeah.
The gang's all here.
The gang's all here. Was it 50,000 people, 15 last names?
What's that?
That's Kentucky.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah. That's how
nothing good happens there.
Nothing happens there, period. You could have stopped there. Oh, bourbon happens there. I like bourbon, but
dirty dope and good meth. Shouts out to my boy Tim. Doing that dirty KY dope. Hope you're still free, homie.
It's the fucking the corn. It's cut with corn.
No tooth Tim.
No tooth Tim.
It's my boy.
Oh shit! Free my boy Tim.
Good dude. His mom sewed me a blanket one time.
God damn. That's so wholesome in contrast to, not even in contrast to fucking calling him No Tooth Tim.
Dude, he was the dude with the dragon tattoos. He was the boy with the dragon tattoos. All 13 dragon tattoos.
Oh, fuck.
It's my boy.
Now, this is interesting because you've told me about this guy before, but there's definitely no way that you said his name was No Tooth Tim.
So many stories.
I love how you left that part out, like knowing you had to knowing that we were going to bring him up another time. There was definitely going to be another time to bring up fucking honestly, dirty dope, No Tooth Tim.
I forgot all about it.
Oh fuck.
My savant is kicking in. But so many wrinkles are growing in my brain.
Well, use them to
everything.
Use them to tell me more about Savant Syndrome, and let's continue the podcast.
All right, where were we?
We're talking about inside jokes that. Well, we did talk about it on the podcast, but no one listened to that. That's a long time ago. No one listens to old shit.
No. So he had map abilities. That's
we left. That's where we left off. I read one paragraph of Savant Syndrome piece.
We went from maps to Lost in Kentucky, the Toothless Tim.
Yeah.
So those with the condition generally have a neurodevelopment disorder, such as autism spectrum disorder, or have a brain injury. About half of cases are associated with autism, and these individuals may be known as autistic savants. While the condition usually becomes apparent in childhood, some cases develop later in life.
Savant syndrome is estimated to affect around 1 in a million people. The condition affects more males than females at a ratio of 6-1. The first medical... I'm sorry?
That sucks. It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
I was almost left that part out, but that's such a striking ratio that it was like, okay, that's a lot. The first medical account of the condition was in 1783. Among those with autism, 1 in 10 to 1 in 200 have Savant syndrome. That's a really wild gap in ratio. I mean, I guess I can understand that like there's not enough shit to like have a proper number. You can't like make an estimation like that maybe, but still.
I think part of it's what we talked about is just that autism's so misunderstood. And that I think savantism, I think there is a lot of like mixed feelings in the medical community. I could see a doctor who's all in on savantism being like, no, it's 1 in 10. While like a lot of people are like, actually, it's a lot more rare than that. You know what I mean? I could see how that range could kind of emerge.
Yeah. It's estimated that there are fewer than 100 prodigious savants with skills so extraordinary that they would be considered spectacular even for a non-impaired person that are currently living. So that's even so that even within the savant syndrome, there are spectrums to it where it's like, you know, this person may be extremely talented at something beyond normal, you know, means, but it's not like to the point where it's like someone, I guess they're saying that someone that even if they weren't impaired, like it would still be extremely impressive.
Yeah, and I know part of it we hadn't talked about much yet either is there's often consequence. With great gifts, there's great responsibilities, right? As Peter Parker would say. And a lot of people like have, you know, the OCD, headaches, migraines, social difficulties, light sense. Like there's a lot of aspects of it that can make the condition very hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And there's almost an element of like, if you can overcome that, you can benefit from the savantism, but not.
Yeah, hopefully. That's I learned a lot during last year we watched the Love on the Spectrum series.
Yeah.
Which is it's pretty wild, and it's a fun watch, but it's also very like, you know, it's hard to watch these people that, you know, that are, you know, they're trying their absolute best, and it's not at all their fault. Like they're given such a you know, I want to say handicap in life because there's you know, they're just at a disadvantage at so many things, and it's you know, even if they, you know, they were to have a, you know, savant that they could use, it's like that still doesn't make their day-to-day life any easier. You know, like, so they can play piano like a motherfucker, but it's like they still have to like go about life like a person.
Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't put my feelings together on that show, but I definitely feel like in general that we kind of as a society have a like weird outlook on people with mental disabilities. I think the people that go so far as to say like, hey, these people are absolutely the same as us and there's nothing wrong with how they are, like that kind of narrative, I think there's some problems with only because the people that have family members that struggle to a high level of severity with autism or different things like that, it is truly debilitating. And it almost takes away from the like empathy to them that they are dealing with something that is very challenging. But we also act like they're like not people sometimes too. Like people talk to them like puppies and shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're just people. Just pure people.
I can see where I don't want to say it affects their that it lessens their quality of life, but it definitely changes it.
Yes.
You know, it not just for them, but for, you know, the families around them, that if, you know, someone's at a, you know, very severe degree, they need help, you know, taking care of themselves and shit. And it's like, it's, you know, that's putting it on someone else now in the family. And it just makes it difficult. And, you know, kudos for the people that make it happen. And, you know, that's wild shit.
I can't remember the name. I feel like you might actually know the name of this. I did it honestly for a very short length of time, but it's something I want to get involved with again, like at some point. I'm not there yet, but doing art with people that have disabilities.
Oh, that would be dope.
And it was like a program. There's one in Northside, but there's another one like it's at like a autism thing in the hospital, and you just show up once a week and make art with them, and it's something similar in Northside, and I can't remember the fucking name, but it was a very rewarding experience because it's such pure expression, and it's just fun, it's just cool. I
definitely think teaching people, I mean, like I don't consider myself to be a skilled artist or even a, you know, whatever, but I know shit, and
you're a great teacher too.
I don't even know about that, but I appreciate that.
No, you are.
I feel like that would be fun. You know, it's one like I'm not going to be a teacher you know, like a professional teacher, but I feel like I have a lot to teach people. Like when I teach my my niece was really is still really into drawing, and like trying to give her little tips on, you know, like character design and like, you know, perspective or like little goofy shit that, and then my her brother would try, and like he gets really anxious and he just wants to be doing it because she's doing it kind of thing sometimes. And it was like, just lighten up. Like he would, you know, draw really hard with his pencil, and it's like, just lighten up, like make it, you know, you sketch it out real quick so you're going to erase shit. Like if you draw real heavy, you don't know. Like
you're exploring the paper. You're finding what's there.
Yeah, man. You see the drawing inside the paper, and you have to bring it out like Marvel.
See, I draw with a monkey fist. No matter how soft I try. I mean, I can, and for technical drawing,
I have to use the finest line pencil. I use mechanical pencils when I draw.
Always for something soft, but I'm a heavy hand. I'm drawing with my fists.
That's you are an ape. So I think that could be a lot of fun. Something to do. We got to look into that and do some research on that. Oh no, I think I lost Steven.
No. Do you hear
you were
noise?
just quiet. Oh, I do. That's a motorcycle outside my house.
Okay.
It's driving away. Butthole. Why? Who's driving a motor? Maybe it wasn't a motorcycle, but it definitely fucking sounded like it. So it's got a fucked up muffler.
Motorcycle guys and big truck boys are so lame.
Well, especially in
the middle
of winter when it's 25 fucking degrees outside. You really going to go off on a motorcycle ride right now?
You know, the interesting thing is the guys who like their big trucks. What?
He went to the end of the street. He's coming back.
Oh, he heard us.
He's coming back. He's going to kick our ass.
No, but the guys that drive the big trucks with their big truck nuts, and they don't even use the truck for work, and it's double kit lifted, their nuts are dragging on the road, and the guys with their loud ass fucking bikes are the same type of people that absolutely hate the people that have loud ass stereo systems, right?
Right.
And it's like the loud ass bass stereo shit equally as dumb, and they both hate each other, but they're both doing the same stupid shit. Like, it's so fucking loud. It makes me want to lose it, dude.
They're all autistic.
We got there. They'll never be savants.
They're all savants.
Such gifted people. In some cases, Savant Syndrome can be induced.
Start over.
World full of special people.
We have to.
No, we're just rolling.
There's no way we're cutting out of that. So there's no fucking way you can just roll into it like that.
So this is where some of it gets pretty crazy, because doctors have found these cases of acquired Savant Syndrome, and the next logical step is, how can we mimic this, right? Like, how can we unlock the human brain potential, right?
Right.
So it's been widely, I don't know if widely, but it's been experimented on. Like, people are playing with these ideas. So in some cases, Savant Syndrome can be induced by following severe head trauma to the left anterior temporal lobe. Savant Syndrome has been artificially replicated using transcranial magnetic stimulation to temporarily disable this area of the brain, which is kind of counterintuitive. Like, it feels like you might be enabling something, but it's really you're turning or lessening certain areas of brain function.
Yeah, you're turning off different parts, or you're lessening the effect of different parts, so that it's increasing in other places. It has to compensate. Yeah,
right. And this is, transcranial magnetic stimulation stuff. This is a new but increasingly common treatment for depression stuff. It's, they do the magnets on the side of your head. You go into treatments. It's like a 30-minute session a couple times a week. And it really can change brain function, especially with depression. What the cases that are able to induce this, though, are not extreme. It seems more like a moderate effect in acuity, or like retention, or mental like ability for relatively brief amounts of time.
It's very temporary. It's not like a bring it on like long term. It's like less than 45 minutes usually is what the studies are showing. For the intended effect of Savant stuff. With the depression stuff, there is a problem with it often wearing off after months, but supposedly a lot of people feel after they get to a certain point, their brain really does mold and change neuropathway shape, whatever, to be less depressive. I also get all them wrinkles out of there.
Gotta smooth some of those fuckers out. Dude, do you remember the scene in I, Robot with Will Smith where Sonny, the robot, draws really fast with both hands?
No, I've never seen iRobot.
It's not great, but it was fun as a kid. But, that's where I first learned the 3 rules of robotics, and I would not be the man I am today without the 3 rules of robotics. Right?
That's how you got your doctorate.
Of course, but there's a scene where the robots...
You wrote your thesis statement on iRobot.
Obviously. But there's a scene where the robot, to prove he's developing the ghost in the circuit, the human aspects of whatever consciousness, he shows his dreams to Will Smith by drawing them. And because he has a form of consciousness, he can have these dreams and he can show it, but because he's a robot, he can draw it perfectly and really fast. So he has a piece of paper and 2 pencils and he just goes
like a laser jet printer.
So fucking cool. I remember like as a kid, I was like, that's the kind of artist I want to be. I want to learn to savant it with you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So cool.
Double fisting. So I used to draw like that when I was a kid.
Don't do that.
On the wall with 2 crayons. So now there's several accounts of artificially induced savant-like skills in drawing, proofreading, numerosity, and false memory reduction, all by inhibiting the left anterior temporal lobe with repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, which we're going to refer to from now on as TMS. TMS. So low-frequency TMS temporarily inhibits neural activity in a localized area of the cerebral cortex, thereby creating virtual lesions, which I thought was really interesting.
The brain damage.
Yeah.
And it's all, working off of the, like, have you ever met somebody, there's like famous cases like Rosie O'Donnell with like a severe brain severe brain damage that changed her personality. All right, that's a real thing though.
No, wait. Rosie O'Donnell had brain damage?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I swear to God, it's her. No, she got hit by a car and was in. Joe Rogan tells this fucking story all the time. But there's like a couple other comedians that happened to similar things where she got hit by a car, had severe brain damage. She was very introverted and like not boisterous person. And after the car accident or whatever, she got hit by the car. She's in a psych ward for 3 months. Afterwards, the brain damage changed her personality completely, and she became a comedian after.
Oh, okay. So this was before her entertainment career. Okay.
But like people that knew her before say she never would have gone into entertainment at all till after this episode.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But I've met like a couple people in my life that maybe I didn't know well, but that had very different personalities before and after brain damage.
Oh,
and the idea of these treatments is basically like to temporarily stimulate the effects of a tumor, a lesion on your brain, so your brain compensates in another way that imitates a natural savant effect kind of thing. So this guy's kind of interesting. We have Dr. Alan Schneider. So Alan Schneider from the University of Sydney is known for having done experiments that have yielded some results on this. But the studies were quite small, and while they show potential, they have a lot to be desired. And this guy is a kook, by the way.
He is fucking wild.
You go to his website, it instantly downloads a video. Which I have not had happen.
Well, to be fair, you have to hit the enter button on the website first,
and it just downloads a video of all of his press appearances and interviews on TV, and it's this doctor, this supposedly prestigious doctor with a backwards hat posing on different TV shows. It's the worst quality video. It's very
fucking
funny.
Richard Branson and the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, I mean he
wild as fuck.
made the rounds with people and was put on. So apparently, and he won a lot of awards. His research shows some level of success. I'm not sure to what, but he has some interesting research.
Yeah. So Snyder is interested in understanding savants. In savants, according to Snyder, the top layer of mental processing, conceptual thinking, making logical deductions, is somehow deactivated. His working hypothesis is that once this layer is inactivated, there's capacity for recalling the minute details for performing lightning quick calculations. He believes it may be possible someday to create technologies that will allow any person to access these abilities.
Which would be so cool.
Yeah.
In his findings, he writes, I argue that savant skills are latent in all of us. My hypothesis is that savants have privileged access to the lower level, less processed information before it is packaged into holistic concepts and meaningful labels. Owing to a failure in top-down inhibition, they can tap into information that exists in all of our brains, but it is normally beyond our conscious awareness. This suggests why savant skills might arise spontaneously in otherwise normal people, and why such skills might be artificially induced by low-frequency, repetitive, transcranial magnetic stimulations. It also suggests why autistic savants are atypically literal, with a tendency to concentrate more on the parts than on the whole, and why this offers advantages for particular classes of problem solving, such as those that necessitate breaking cognitive mindsets. A strategy of building from the parts to the whole could form the basis for the so-called autistic genius. Unlike the healthy mind in quotes, which has inbuilt expectations of the world, internal order, the autistic mind must simplify the world by adopting strict routines or external order.
Yeah.
It's intriguing.
Yeah. It's definitely,
I don't know if he's right.
Definitely a new concept to me, a new way of looking at it.
I feel like I felt this idea in people that had brain deficiencies, but I didn't know how to word it, and I don't know if his wording is correct, but it feels like it's the same, but
it's well stated. It doesn't mean so much that it's correct.
Right.
So in his trials, Snyder directed low frequency TMS for 15 minutes to the left anterior temporal lobe of 11 right-handed healthy participants. The participants were given 1 minute to draw a dog, horse, or face from memory before, during, and immediately after, and 45 minutes after the TMS treatment. Magnetic stimulation caused a major change in the schema of the drawings for 4 out of 11 participants. 2 of those 4 also underwent inactive stimulation either the week before or after the real test. The changes in drawing style were observed only following active stimulation and not after the sham stimulation. In some cases, the drawings returned to normal, in quotes, after 45 minutes after the TMS ceased. Several participants reported greater awareness of detail in their surroundings after active TMS. One participant published his experience and stating that he could hardly recognize the drawings as his own, even though he had watched himself render each image.
I find it so intriguing. One of the doctors we watched in his interview with Jason, he made the comparison that I found very interesting to amphetamines, where certain chemical changes, not even structural changes like the TMS does, can really transform brain function. Just like the different neurostimulator drugs, a lot of them are phony. There's so much fraud drawn to them. There's a whole class of drugs in Brazil, South America, that they sell to poor people to change neuro abilities. There's pills to teach you a new language and shit.
Oh, damn.
Overly specific drugs with geared toward different neural outcomes, right? Most of those are bullshit. But there are certain drugs that are different amino acid chains that do change how your brain is functioning for a limited amount of time. It's methamphetamine given to the Nazis for war purposes, stay awake, but also highly can increase brain function, right? Mm-hmm. In the right doses, done with not reaching levels of psychosis and those things, you can change your brain in ways that did not feel possible. You can operate at higher levels of consciousness. And I also found it interesting, I learned recently, it's a relatively common thing for lawyers to use nicotine sprays or gums right before they go into court. And apparently one of the lawyers at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was seen using a shit ton of nicotine spray, and he's a non-smoker, or there was something like that. Someone on one of the legal teams, but
Just
it's a thing, like
stimulant.
yeah, like if I'm an extreme nicotine caffeine addict, but if I sit down to play video games, if I dose the fuck up, I got nicotine pouches, I got gum going, and I'm buzzing a little bit, my attention to detail and like reflexes in a game are, it's not like a crazy amount, but it's a lot sharper still.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
I feel like I used to get that really bad when I used to smoke cigarettes. When I drew, like when I draw, I would want to be smoking while I was drawing, and eventually I was doing hookah while I was doing when I was drawing or painting or doing stuff, and I feel like it helped. I feel like it helped keep me focused at the task on hand, or like kept me dialed into certain details.
It's like Sherlock with his nicotine patches. It is a thing.
Sherlock had nicotine patches
in the newest show.
I don't know. I know he's famous for the pipe.
Yeah, that's what the adaptation and the new one was. There was no.
Because they can't have him smoking on TV or whatever, right?
I think they could have, but that was their modern solution to that.
Okay.
He also did do meth, I believe, in the show, but it's cool. Like to change your like the idea of like doing this type of brain stimulation, with magnetic pulses and shit that could have a real practical effect on your artistic or cognitive ability is something pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So Schneider had the above 11 participants undergo a test for proofreading following the same protocol. Without TMS, participants almost always misspelled or duplicated a word, such as the in familiar proverbs, even after multiple exposures. That's a weird thing. Once you don't see something, it's hard to like really see it with words and stuff. Like you need a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
2 participants displayed a noticeable improvement in their ability to recognize duplicated words in text following stimulation. They did comparatively well during and or immediately after stimulation, and comparatively poorly before and after 45 minutes. Importantly, these 2 participants also displayed pronounced style changes in their drawings during and after real stimulation, but not after the placebo stimulation. None of the participants improved at proofreading with placebo stimulation. In conclusion, low-frequency TMS of the front temporal lobe caused major changes in the schema of drawings for 4 of the 11 participants, 2 of whom significantly improved at proofreading.
I find that interesting because it shows, what those findings would suggest is that this doesn't work for everybody.
No.
But in the people that it does work with, it works multiple ways.
And that's the same way with the depression.
It can work multiple ways.
Yeah. And I also think it's, I don't know quite what level of study this was, whether it was later peer-reviewed, double-blind, whatever, but it feels like there is a real possibility in it. And it could be very difficult in testing, improving, in like calculating to what extent, because every individual person's brain chemistry is so different too. Like, what could make a lifetime change for you might not work on me, and vice versa.
Yeah. And it does suck that it's such a small study, but there's there's a lot of resources and time that goes into each one of these individuals that they're doing. So like it takes a long time to get this information.
It's expensive as well.
Yeah. So I can see where it's not a huge thing, and it probably won't be.
But if my memory's correct, this research is like 10 years old. I feel like there isn't a lot of like, I feel like it's kind of hit like a stall point where there's not like a ton going on right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the other one is it's not possible to accurately estimate a large number of objects without counting them successively. A small number, 3 or 4, can be accessed, yet there have been reports over time about the ability of autistic savants to accurately guess large numbers of objects. Such reports motivated Snyder to induce savant-like numerosity abilities in 12 right-handed participants. Low-frequency TMS was applied to the left anterior lobe for temporal lobe for 15 minutes. Participants were presented with between 50 and 150 discrete elements on a monitor with TMS and sham stimulation. Each session involved 60 trials. That's 20 opportunities to guess the number of elements before, immediately after, and 1 hour after TMS. The exposure time was 1.5 seconds, which is too short for anyone to count the number of elements, but sufficiently long enough to resemble exposure times in real-life situations. Out of 12 participants, 10 improved their ability to accurately guess the number of discrete elements immediately following magnetic pulse stimulation. Out of these 10 participants, 8 became worse after 1 hour, as the effects of the magnetic pulses receded. None of those 8 participants exhibited that same pattern during the sham session. The probability of as many as 8 out of 12 people doing the best just after the TMS and not after the sham by chance alone is less than 1 in thousands.
Yeah. That's definitely, this dude was very inspired by Rain Man. That is for sure.
Yeah.
In one of his written interviews, what I found fascinating was he did have a real passion for the creative potential in his work. And
right.
Despite maybe what could be the exaggerated nature or like anything I'm skeptical about, what I found the most interesting was his passion for the creative and his ideas on the capabilities this could lead to. He really felt like his goal long term would to create like a mobile version of the TMS, and he referred to this as a thinking cap.
Yeah.
And he compared it to the idea of like how your brain functions in an oxygen bar. Like those were such a short-lived fad, but
yeah, that was I never actually got a chance to go to one, but I remember one at the Newport Mall that I was like, oh, that seems cool.
Yeah, it seems cool. And I think it is, but it wasn't very practical for it to be at one place. But the idea of an actual thinking cap you could turn on or off when engaging in critical thinking or creative processes would be like a revolutionary ability, right? Like to be able to, with a flip of the switch, turn that type of functioning on and off would be so cool as an artist.
Just constantly keep yourself on galaxy brain mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many potential things that you could do with that idea of the thinking cap thing. Like if, like he says, specifically as an artist, there's so many things that you could tap into to like boost your creativity real quick, or just top off on ideas real quick, and then.
Would you roll the dice on some brain damage? If I give you the hammer and we had just done a brain scan, the doctor's like 50-50. If you hit this spot, you're going big time, bro. You're getting all the creative juice.
Or
what do
you're
a veggie.
Yeah.
Just drooling, watching Veggie Tales for the next 10 years.
I would not take 50-50 odds. I'm not taking it.
Yeah. Man, the piano player that we came across, what was his name? There was a savant sculptor named Alonzo Clemens. Didn't think he was a very good sculptor, but there was another guy. If you guys Google savant piano player, I feel like he will come up. But
I think there's a few of them.
Yeah, that's true. It was very funny. The video was sponsored by Coors Light, which we could not stop laughing.
Fucking sick.
But this dude, he felt like there were these blocks spinning around his head at all times, and that they contained groupings of notes of music, and how they swirled around his head. Like if you think of the cartoons, like stars going around your head, he felt like it was that with like white and black blocks that contained groupings of music. And it felt like he couldn't stop the music. It just always circled his head in ways that was constantly composing. And his fingers would twitch with it, even like while he was trying to sleep and stuff. And that one did feel a lot more sketchy to me, but just the idea of those kind of changes that you could, he had the same thing where it was acquired savant syndrome, but his was his synesthesia was to be able to see sound.
Yeah,
which just sounds like X-Men shit, but he could feel, see sound, right? So he experienced it in such a different way that supposedly having no background in music, he could constantly compose or channel the sounds he would see around him. Yeah,
there was one where you said it was a video you were watching, and you said like the guy was playing the piano, and apparently it was like supposed to be his first time behind the piano. He like first time ever behind a piano, and he just rocks it. Yeah. And it's like that part seems fishy to me. Number one, like you said, like why? How did
why does he have a piano in his house?
Yeah, why does he have a piano in his house and he's never sat behind it? Number one. Yeah. Number two is even so when we were in school, there's a student that was a few grades lower than us, but his name was Jack, and Jack had autism in some form, and but he was a savant with music, and they would give him I never like saw this in person, but from what I understood from the accounts of many people, including teachers, they would say like you could give him an instrument and you show him the scales of that instrument and how to play it, and it clicks, he knows it, he can do whatever you can do what you tell him to do, and he can jam out. So they would have him on like bass guitar and like bars and stuff, and like doing like different shit. But you would still have to teach him like the scales and the basic formation on how to play this instrument.
All right, so like that's so cool, first of all, but where's the fucking line between like being a prodigy having a natural inclination towards something, or just being like way smarter in a particular area, to like now we have the label of savant. Like the savant obviously is a whole different level, but it's like I don't know. I have a level of mistrust.
I think savant, it from what I understand, it clarifies that they experience other issues, like other detrimental issues to their brain function.
I don't think it's always detrimental, but
it's something like, whether it's, I don't know, maybe not detrimental, but they have other, complications, maybe. I don't know.
It just
obstacles that they have, that they deal with, but they also just have this incredible ability that kind of comes out of nowhere.
I just feel very untrusting. Is like I'm fully embracing
just
it for
the biggest skeptic.
Yeah, like I fully embrace it for the sake of discovering this, writing this, enjoying the possibility of it. But I don't think I believe there's a possibility in it, but I don't think it's how it is portrayed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he said there's a lot that you could, You never know. It's hard to trust people in general. So you never know when someone's just trying to make a quick buck on a book or some shit.
I feel
even exaggerating things that may be a thing, may be a problem, but like they exaggerate it to the point that, I don't know, for sympathy and shit.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, I feel like maybe you do feel like you're seeing a form of sound. Maybe you can see the relation of angles, but it's not like as like spectacularly visual. I feel like it's more of like an understanding. Like your brain is processing it that way, but even if it's just the people that make the videos on it because it's such an interesting thing and it's like so enchanting, I just feel like I feel like the reality of it is probably a lot more challenging for that person to contend with, and not as like not as simply a gift, right? Like,
yeah,
their brain's functioning in a different way, and they can see that on these scans and things. What I do find extra interesting is that like the line between like a health risk or like a brain lesion, a cancer, and like something special is like razor thin at times.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is so intriguing. Like it's the duplicity of life, right? Like you're, 10 pounds of pressure per square inch different. Like your whole life could have been different when you got mugged by those two dudes. Like
right.
And an inch off this way, too much pressure. That like it could have all been so different. Or like what other like the lesion growing just in the wrong spot could have changed. It's just so wild. I feel like it just, even like at the best of times, these people with these gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so out of their control. I know one of the guys was talking about he didn't want to take these anti-seizure medications that the doctors were recommending to ease his migraines because he was afraid it would interrupt or possibly end his ability with music. And it's like, I strongly feel we always have a choice. Like we don't always have like control of our lives, or where we can't always choose the place we die, right?
Right.
But we can make some choices along the way, but so much of it is so far out of our control.
Yeah.
And they would adjust to it so quick, and it's just, I don't know how long it would feel like a gift.
Yeah, that is when it comes to, like I said, it's like migraines and shit. It's like the migraines fuck me up, man. I don't know. If it was like it was a sudden thing, it's not like a thing that I could do before. I don't know. Like we talked about while doing notes, I think it was like, if it was, we were talking about the violinist that was having the surgery done. And it was like to, went out of her way to like be awake while she's playing violin to make sure that like they're not fucking up unnecessary parts of her brain. And it's like, I guess I get it. I don't know. I feel like I would go into, there was like my cooking or something that the thing that I'm passionate about that I make my money with. And it's like, but if it was like a life or death thing where like, I need to get this tumor out of my brain, and I don't know, it's like, I don't want to be awake for that. I don't want to be conscious for that.
I think I would rather be though.
Oh, I super don't.
I think I would.
I was conscious while they took the fucking ingrown toenails out of my feet, and that was sucked. I didn't want to watch that for sure. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be awake during brain surgery.
I think it would be such a fascinating and rare insight into yourself that I would, as scary as it would be, I don't know if I would want to miss that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Now here's a jump of a comparison I can make, right? All right, so they have these new treatments out for drug withdrawal, particularly opiate withdrawal, and it's called the bridge, right? And it's a little piece you put behind your ear that gets, and it has like some sort of little battery and cord, and it gets like popped underneath your skin behind your ear, like a electrode of it. And it doesn't work for all people, but for a lot of people, that electronic stimulation to that particular nerve completely, for some people, gets rid of all opiate withdrawal.
Oh, wow.
So
that could be huge.
Yeah, for certain like buprenorphine medications that keep you from getting high for a month at a time with an injection, you have to be sober a handful of days. And most people that go into treatments, they really want to try to be sober, but they just can't get past those few days to get on to a more long-term medication. It's just too hard being sick, right?
Right.
So they have this thing, the bridge, and you can get through that withdrawal now with money, resources, connection. You can get the bridge, right? It's not that expensive, but you don't have to go through any of the pain of withdrawal, right? So you could just, anytime you relapse or like get sick, you could just get this thing and skip all of the pain, right?
Yeah.
I think that is a beautiful thing because genuinely, like we, as people, we want to be comfortable as possible. You don't want people to go through unnecessary pain.
Right.
But there is something like you learn and grow through that. And if I had the option, I would never take someone's like alternate path of pain, like of escape from pain. But for myself, I don't know if I could have gone through all my withdrawals, which were all the fucking time, and just like skip that part of it. It would have taken away from my like need to want to be sober kind of thing too.
Yeah.
So like, what's interesting with these savants, right? The acquired savant artist kind of people, you never hear about them becoming like there's all these comparisons, like the Michelangelo abilities, the amazing music they can make. They just learn it. They never become the real Michelangelo, right? Like, how many really famous, or like, I know there's not many of them, but if their talent is that like supreme and like that incredibly gifted, you would think they would be at the top of their creative fields.
Yeah.
And just like as an outside observation, it feels like maybe because they came into it, like naturally, unexpectedly, that maybe that same like drive and passion is not behind him. It's It's just like who they are now, opposed to what they were striving to be. And without that struggle or like drive, they don't come to do the same greatness that they could be more easily capable of.
Right.
I don't know. Is that?
No, that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. It's like I've mentioned before, it's one of the things that like there's a difference between a musician and someone that plays guitar.
Definitely.
It's like, I can play guitar. I'm not a musician. I cannot write music. I don't have that in me. It's not a thing. I could probably, if I spent some time and really practice at it, I'm sure I could eventually come up with some stuff, but it's never going to be the same as someone who's inclined and is motivated.
Does the music come from your guitar or from your heart?
Oh, God damn it. Put that on a t-shirt and sell it. And I feel like it's the same with drawing. I feel like, it's one of those things like you either got it or you don't. And like anybody can pick up a pencil and draw. And if you practice long enough, you can get better at it. But there are certain people that are just wired to be able to convey their thoughts in a visual method better than other people. And those people, when they apply themselves, are always going to excel in a way that you can't fake the funk on that. You can't just.
Do you think I don't know if I disagree, but and this is just exploring the conversation. I feel like that almost verges on the God's gift kind of deal, where like I feel like anyone can fake that funk if they had the passion. I feel like it's a question of like passion over talent. And maybe the natural passion.
If they have the passion for it, and it's just something that they work hard towards, I'm sure they're, you can become great. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, if you have the Michelangelo compared to, like, let's say I decided, even in art school, that I want to sculpt. And I'm shitty at sculpting. I've always been shitty at sculpting. I've learned it when I was young in art school, that when I tried, and I put in good effort, that I couldn't get out of it what I wanted to. If I applied myself and really like dug deep into it, I'm sure I would get better. I'm sure I would get, more talented at it. But to reach that level, I do feel like there's something else. And I think I feel like my point so far has been kind of somewhat counterintuitive to what you were saying, about like you need that struggle to get that good. And I feel like that's also true where like you look at Jason Padgett's art, and it's like it feels stale. It doesn't feel, there's not a conveyed emotion, and part of it because it's math. It's not meant to have emotion. It's math, but I feel like you can have so much stuff that's not. I don't know. You see someone's struggles in their work. Or when you can see that the struggles in their work, when you can see the hours and hours of learning and trying and over again, you definitely see that. I don't know. I think I realize I'm making a different point than you are.
I know.
And it has nothing to do with it, but still.
I feel what you're saying. I just feel like I don't think an artist needs pain or struggle to be the fuel, but I think it often is. I think like the real root of it is passion. And like, I feel like as talented as a Michelangelo might be, I feel like if you had that level of passion, your Machiavellian streak kicks in and you're like, fuck it, the only thing I care about is bending this stone to my will.
Right.
I feel like if you spent the next 30 years knowing your mind, like your level of current talent, I feel like in 30 years, you could be equally as good as a Michelangelo in a different way. And I don't think like you're particularly unique to that. I feel like anyone with enough time and passion can, I don't think it's that way with all things, that we're all capable of anything and we can all be astronauts and go to the fucking moon. But I think there is a level of like, if that passion is there, I think we're capable of a lot more than we think we are.
Right.
I don't know. I can see it being an awesome sculptor though.
Yeah, I feel like, so you said you don't feel like the struggle part is necessary for artists. And I would argue that struggle comes hand in hand with passion, because when you,
True. I agree.
when you're passionate about something and you're intent on getting better at it, those, like the times when you, not so much fail, but you don't, the times as you try and you're learning and you're getting better and better, there's times you notice it, especially as an artist, you realize like this was fun and this was cool, but I can do better. Or this was, the top of what I can do, but it's been 3 months now and I'm looking at it and this is bullshit. This is garbage. Sure. Get it out of my face. I can do better. And it's like that part, I feel like that is part of the struggle of like, you're constantly plugging away at it. Yeah. To hone the craft, to get better at it. That's part of the,
I largely think there is a certain level of pain requirement. There's a threshold for a high level of passion or to like be good at something. But I always am kind of careful because I don't want to be discouraging. Because I think there's an element of like, especially in art circles, people or artists or like people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, I feel like it's often repeated that like you have to have gone through some shit to be one of the greats in your whatever.
But be all that. It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, and the proof to the breaking of that rule is like every athlete that came from a great home, every artist that was rich and lived a comfortable life. Like there are always going to be people who can overcome that lack of pain purely from passion. And I don't think it's, you didn't do this at all, but I think it's unfair when other people say like someone didn't go through enough struggle to create art that shows struggle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hot garbage.
Right.
That is hot garbage.
So I think like the root of it is passion, but like you said, it is tied to pain, and it is mostly acquired through struggle, pain, whatever.
Yeah, and it's not. I think the traditional sense that people think of struggle is different than what
you said.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I think it is still very much. If you've lived it, then you know that it is absolutely a struggle. To, when you, and I from what I understand, musicians get it too, where it's like, they write a song or something, and then like, you play it so many times, and it's like you can't fucking, and. They look at it, they look past it like, well, I'm getting paid for this. And it's, when you are getting paid for it. But I know even David's gone through that before. He's told me like songs that I've liked of his, and he's like, oh, I fucking hate that song. Or I can't stand to hear that shit now. And it's like I get it. I understand where you're coming from 100%, but I'm still jamming to this shit. So,
and that's my thing with John is like, it's fine. You feel that way, but archive everything, you piece of shit. He's deleted whole albums.
Oh, what a fucking idiot.
I know. So we got things backed up now, but like he's done that for so many years. Like songs that like will stay in my head forever don't exist anymore. And it's like, you can't do that. You're actually stealing from the world if you do that.
Yeah. Now I do get, so this is another droppy thing. They say, delete your art. And it's like, if you don't,
they're wrong. I understand, but they're wrong.
Not in the same way that he's doing it, but in the way that like
therapeutic,
that started as a joke, and it was like, you're working on something, and then it's like they would start with like accidentally deleting something, and it's like, now you got to start over.
Start from scratch.
And then the second piece that they, when they try it again, that piece ends up being better, and they're more, happy about the way that this piece came out than the first one.
That's true shit.
Now, so it started as a joke, and then people were, they were like, now everybody listening to the stream, delete your art. Whatever you're working on, just stop it and delete it. And people apparently did.
That's cool.
And they were like, actually, this it turned out really well for me. It worked really well. And people comment on, like, to this day saying like, I deleted my art yesterday, and I'm so glad I did. And
that's a cool learning technique.
But John, don't delete your music and give it to us instead.
Hell yeah. That's funny. There's truth to that. Like some of the pieces I've made when like I was just about to save the final version. I was saving it the whole way along, and then I have like a catastrophic computer failure, and it corrupts the files, and I can't recover any of it without going to crazy lengths. Stayed up all night.
Just do it again.
So fucking angry. Like that shit fucks me up for days. Like I would be so livid and upset, and then starting over, those pieces I always would go to finish them. I never could let that just be gone. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes it rarely wasn't better. There's something to like that for sure. It's just you delete, but you archive. You start over, you keep a draft, right?
Yeah.
It's about the mental start over.
Yeah. And I think it's different too with like a finished piece versus a thing that you're in the process of. If you have finished pieces, definitely don't delete that. Just make something else.
There definitely is something to the therapeutic elements of like burning old photographs or like deleting your archive, like a whole body of work and starting over fresh. I just think photos are one thing, and I understand elements of that, but I do think there's something like, if it's part of like something you worked hard to create, I think most people at some point or another would live to regret that, and I think it's fine to start all the way over, but just give a copy to someone. That's just like, I've been so tempted to do that multiple times in my life. Just delete everything and say, fuck it. And it's like, I've even gone to do that, but you just have to give someone a copy. You just can't let yourself steal that much of your energy and emotion and hard work from yourself.
I have in my possession
self-mutilation.
Yeah, I have self-mutilation. I have in my possession, I have some of my oldest like drawings that I consider to be good, that I kind of did on my own. It's all like, a couple of them were like notebook sketches, but most of them are actually like in sketchbook quality paper, and they're nice. And one of them in particular that I always think about when I think of my old art was one of the first times that I drew something, and it was like, I spent a lot of time on it, and I got like very like, for at the time it was like very realistic. And I still look back at it as like, it's still really good. But it's a drawing of Master Chief. And
so goofy.
When I go through like old stuff, sometimes like I'll find it and I'm like, oh yeah. And I look at it and like, oh, this is really cool. And it's like, I don't want to look at it anymore. It's still like a thing that's like, I don't really give a fuck about it anymore. And I've thought many, many times about like just clearing up like space and like going through the, the spring cleaning thing where you just start getting rid of shit. About like, I don't actively search this out. I don't hang it up to show like, why am I holding on to this? I should just get rid of it. And my parents have told me like, don't throw your shit away, like give it to us. So I'm due to go through that. I have like old portfolio, cases that I got to go through, and like, I haven't opened in 10, over 10 years. And it's like, I have to get rid of all of this shit. I have to just do something with it because it's taking up space, and I'm never looking at it. I'm never using it for reference or anything. I'm not, never feeling nostalgic about any of it. It's just get the fuck out of here.
It's so odd because it's like going back to a bizarro different timeline of yourself. It's fun though. Well, only forward, right?
Ever forward.
Can't go backwards. Well, I like ending it on the idea of the old things and making the new, and I have to really pee. Is there anything we want to?
Yeah, in the immortal words of Zach Fox, I want to say shouts out to mental illness and R.I.P. to Betty White.
Fuck Betty White.
Man, you can't say fuck Betty White on anything.
I've been waiting all week to say
fuck Betty White on a recording.
Bro, all right. She was cute. She sold hot sauce. She was adorable, right? Betty White was OG, right?
She was Rose.
She didn't do anything important. She was just another actress. She didn't give that much of a shit. She didn't do anything monumental with her money. Right? Fuck her.
She donated a bunch of stuff to she was involved with a charity. I forget what it was. Something to do with animals.
I mean, I'm definitely joking, but like, fuck everyone, right? She didn't do anything.
I mean, all right. But Betty White seemed like a real sweetheart.
We'll be split on this. I think that's fair.
I watched a lot of Golden Girls growing up with my so I would come home from school and it would be my grandma. It was at my grandma's house at the time, and that's what she liked: Unsolved Mysteries and Golden Girls.
Oh, that's funny.
So I watched a lot of Golden Girls, and then Pokemon came on around after that. So I'd change the channel for Pokemon. But
that's a hell of a combo. Yeah. Well, I'll give it a pass then. We'll give Betty White a pass. An honorable trash Pokemon cat. Betty White was the best Pokemon.
Betty White, my favorite starter Pokemon.
She was fire.
Shouts out. She was a fire type. Shouts out to Pokemon Red. thanks again for listening. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John. Love you. Looking forward to that next track.
As long as he doesn't delete all of his work. Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcats Trashcast on Instagram for news and arts from the show. And check out Facebook for the memes.
If you're super fucking bored, you can check out my trashy art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZICX.
Don't bother, it sucks.
I finally finished goose sculpting and crafting that angel. I really like that fucking angel. I fucking love that piece. The goose sculpting. Somebody commented on Reddit like, holy shit, there's 4 goose in this.
Yeah, like I just look at it and realize this is 4 whole geese.
Maybe very.
I think my response to that one was it looks so pure but not. It looks like something that like is so like it gives me some kind of like comfortable feeling, but it looks like it'd be nasty to touch.
Yeah. That silky angel skin.
There's definitely carrying some diseases in that.
The angels always got diseases. They're dirty girls. So you can check out my trashy art. Shouts out to Jason Paget. We weren't super hot on his art, but he seemed like a very cool and interesting cat. Highly recommend checking him out and check out his art too. Like some of it's cool. It might be your thing. Who else to be featured? Lauren Max.
Yep.
Incredible artist. Check her out. Ubi. Look up on YouTube the song Pharmacy. It's UBI Pharmacy. And then look up violin brain surgeries just for fun.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
It definitely made me a little queasy towards the video. Made me a little queasy. The pictures are just fine.
It's straight Hannibal shit.
It really is.
I think that's it. Yeah. Next week we're doing something entertainment-y.
Yeah, we have an idea on that. I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to get it ready in time, but we'll see. If we do, it's going to fucking rip. It's going to rip ass.
And if not, it's going to stitch ass.
Yeah. Stitch that ass right back up. Seal it away.
Open next week. Yeah.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast and trash.
Stitch that ass. I hope you're fucking up, boy.
Gotta recover for next month.
We're going to rip it back open again.